So hand number 16 of the final table. Already 5-handed. Olashemian gets it started with a raise. Has Queen 10 suited. Selbst in the small with Ace 7.
Sorry, can you get me the service, please?
Remember that we saw Vanessa fold a weak ace earlier on, and she folds another weak ace. And Deeb gives up his big blind, so Olashemian wins another pot and extends his chip lead. Well, we introduced a new feature yesterday. It's time for part 2 of Stapes' Guide to the Caribbean. Enjoy.
Ah, the Bahamas, an island paradise so serene 2 countries have to share it. This chain of 3,000 islands is located in one of the most gorgeous and idyllic parts of the world. Its serene aesthetic can only be matched by its ability to cause feelings of extreme euphoria. And then there's this guy. Yup, he's really here. Don't forget this guy, that's a thing here. Oh, he is real too. Careful with those daytime minutes. And no trip to the Bahamas is complete without the open door bus ride. And if you don't think this last image is weird, keep in mind, those people own that carriage. And that's their car. Keep it weird, Bahamas.
Back to the action.
Raise.
And it's a button raise from Vanessa Selbst. Gets Deeb to fold the small. Vanessa actually has a hand, pocket 7s. Trojanovski with 6-7 in the big will also fold. Let's welcome in our next guest to PCALive. She was with us yesterday. She's back again from Team PokerStars Sports Star. It's Fatima Moreo de Melo, looking a little bit tender after last night's party.
No, I didn't party.
You didn't party?
No, but I've been in the sun from like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Trust me, if Fatima had been in Drunksville, I would have seen her there.
Were you there?
Oh yeah, I'm the mayor of Drunksville.
You're looking okay though.
I have the key to the city. No, I actually didn't drink much last night. Just a lot of pickup lines, which,
oh, really?
you know, when you have to shout them at a loud volume, doesn't really help.
No, and they don't work probably either,
no.
right? There's all the lines.
Even when they played my song by Rihanna.
Big hand for Selbst, pocket kings.
Really want Selbst to win this. Be great.
I agree.
The story of the final table so far has been Olashemian. He's eliminated 3 players. He's now the chip leader. He defends his big blind with ace-8. And he flops a backdoor flush draw. Selbst with top set.
Remember what I said, always bet your sets.
Vanessa checks, and the board pairs on the turn, giving her a full house.
I think Vanessa not betting there just looks way suspicious. I mean, you're going to expect her to bet all the time. When is she not going to bet?
No draw now for Shemian. He just has ace high.
I feel like if she bets there, she can, well, look at this.
Possible case of positive tilt, a little bit of overconfidence.
67.
I gotta tell you, I am way more suspicious when Vanessa checks than when she bets that flop.
She's doing a good job Hollywooding though, thinking about, you know?
Sure.
She makes it seem like she's thinking about calling or not, you know? Just hope she doesn't raise thinking he has like a 10 maybe or whatever.
She's thinking about how good Kathy Liebert's name is going to look under hers.
If she comes like 4th or higher, she's like above her, right?
She's already made it, we think.
5th or higher, and she's
Oh, really?
guaranteed 5th.
Oh, cool.
Now, there's always some debate over what winnings count, what don't, but we think it's 5th.
In the end, it doesn't really matter, does it? She's just a really good player. Who gives a shit?
Oh, here we go. Yellow card for Fatima. Knew it wouldn't take long.
Is that a yellow card? I didn't even make a joke.
You swore.
A bad one. Oh, that's a
there
yellow card as well? My God.
Your sponsor, Fatima, who pays for this broadcast, does not want your potty mouth making it to the microphone.
Well, then they shouldn't bring me into live webcast. Because I've done it repeatedly.
You have proven to be a slow learner.
See, and now I can't say a bad word to you.
Boyan raised a good point on Twitter, Fatima, saying you must be familiar with Shemian from your deep run in EPT Barcelona.
Yeah, I was to my left and on like day 3. He's a solid player. Nice guy too.
Boy, I don't
German.
know. You know, I can see all the hole cards, but just think Vanessa checking the flop and raising here. It just screams strength. He does not believe, however.
He's a non-believer and he calls, and I hope for his sake he doesn't hit an ace on the river.
No.
It's a deuce. Although if he figures ace high is good on the turn, he might hero caller on the river.
It is a complete blank, right?
It's a complete blank. Vanessa would be expected to bet here whether she was bluffing or not, so she can certainly get called here. You know, she's played this a different way than I would have expected, and it's working out for her. I mean, that's what makes really great players.
It'd be so nice if he check shoves now.
Don't worry, Miranda. You got nothing to worry
Her
about.
fiance now. Look at her rock.
Not being funny, but given previous history, I'd be worried.
Sure.
Yeah. She's like, Vanessa,
Plus, you don't have to clean up the mess afterward.
Don't shove the river with Jack 7. Please don't shove the river with Jack 7.
Less than a third of her stack, hopefully.
Is she going for the bomb?
543,000 in the middle.
The 350 bet, maybe? Oh, okay, yeah.
465,000. Near enough a pot-sized bet.
I would have liked her to make it just slightly smaller.
Wow.
Shemian shoves and she snap calls.
There we go. Boom.
A huge hand for Vanessa Selbst.
Awesome.
Just absolutely masterfully played. He played
Now she's
right
happy.
into the trap.
Nice.
And Vanessa Selbst takes the chip lead at this 5-handed final table. She's up to nearly 3 million in chips. Ola Shemian drops down to 1.5 million.
Whoops.
Well, that's where all her bluffing got her in the end, right?
That's right.
I mean,
This is a situation where that reputation completely pays
Awesome,
off.
yeah.
She is certainly capable of doing, you know, playing a hand that way with. I think she plays it a little more aggressively with air, honestly, but certainly the river bet is something that she would do if she didn't have a hand. And her reputation got her paid.
Shemian now 5th on the leaderboard, but still has 63 big blinds. This is a pretty deep final table because we saw those 3 early eliminations. No one in danger, everyone with a very playable stack. I say that, everyone's in danger other than Vanessa Selbst, but you know what I mean.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
184.
Yep.
If you want to get in touch, the hashtag is PCALive on Twitter. Alternatively, you can email nuts@pokerstars.tv. Do you want to give your standard caveat about the emails, Joe?
Please do.
If you're going to email, it has to be good because we like Twitter. It's short, it's sweet, it's immediate.
You know, guys, I swear quite a lot, but I think good etiquette at the table is, like, so good. Like, Ola just said, like, nice hand, you know? Like, I really like that. I hate bad losers.
I think even if you don't really mean it, just do it to make yourself look better.
Yeah, but I think he just, you know,
No, he
like,
might really mean it. I'm just saying that, like, just
he means it.
be
He still
sportsmanlike.
thinks it sucks, probably. But
Sure. It's not that hard. Just shoot a little nice hand out there.
It's the girl side of the table.
Stephen emails, nuts@pokerstars.tv, says, guys, great coverage as usual, keep it up. Stape sounds like a guy suffering after the party last night. Are you suffering?
Not at all. Perfectly fine.
And he says, how about a shout out for the kids in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, sweating Sir Watts, Hickey, Dean, Doug, Adrian, Danny, and Tim. Also note, Danny Noseworthy from Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, won the Canada Cup last weekend. Cheers.
Woot woot. If I could quote one of my favorite movies, which is Kingpin, I don't puke when I drink. I puke when I don't.
Or when you get turned down by girls, probably, right?
It's not a top 5 movie.
A lot of people thrilled by the result of that last hand, by the way. Samuel Barber on Twitter saying, great play in that hand. My pick, Vanessa Selbst, is doing well. Take it down. And then we've got Mads, who says, OMG Selbst, awesome, in capital letters with 5 exclamation points.
You know, something we didn't mention is that, you know, Selbst, if she just runs hot,
Are we taking a break?
doesn't need to find another gear, because she's just going to get paid all day.
Deeb's picked up queens under the gun. He min plus raises to 50,000. Trinovsky 3 bets from under the gun +1.
All these huge pocket pairs, it's like we're playing with a pinochle deck.
When you see one of Trinovsky's cards. Trinovsky went broke in the super high roller with pocket 10s, remember. Is he going to run 10s into an overpair again?
Oh.
Hi-ya!
How much did you start the hand with?
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Oh girl.
This is where our colleagues on the other side of the wall who have to put together the TV show are thinking,
Yes.
we need to get an hour out of this, guys. Please slow down.
Vanessa
It's a lot
could
of
be
action
parting
now.
with some of these chips just as quickly as she got them.
Did you see his look there? He really looked like
A little stare down.
"Ah." I want to see Deep's face now.
Ace-10 would be a very bad hand for Vanessa to be up against. Gulp.
There is the cold 4-bet from Vanessa from the big blind.
Now, Deep just called in a spot before we would have expected him to put in another bet. I don't think he can do that again with Troyanovsky in the hand. It's going to be really hard for him to give Vanessa credit. Which means sometimes he might not want her folding to a 5-bet. You know, if he thinks Vanessa's doing this with complete trash bags, he'd want her to barrel again on the flop. But he's not playing against just Vanessa, he's playing against Troyanovsky as well. But you're fairly certain you have the best hand, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, there used to be a time in poker where you could think about folding queens pre-flop at a final table. Not anymore.
Especially not when it's 5-handed.
Especially not when the person 4-betting you is Vanessa Selbst. I don't see how this doesn't get super ugly.
Quick reminder of chip denominations. The yellows are worth 25,000 each. The blues 5,000.
Deeb knows Vanessa's
Oh, that's
reputation.
500,
Vanessa knows Deeb knows Vanessa's reputation.
Well, Troyanovsky gets out of the way as Deeb makes the 5-bet. And Troyanovsky's just going to flash the camera his other hole card. We'll see what he was playing there.
Oh.
He was getting cute.
635,000 lot fold. Exit back around to Vanessa.
So 635 total. 370,000 more.
Now, in position, I don't think Vanessa has to put in another bet.
But she is oop.
She really doesn't like this spot, I don't think. they're still pretty deep, you know.
I mean, these are the two biggest stacks at the final table. Deeb started the hand with 2.3 million. Vanessa just shy of 3 million.
And this is what I was.
Behind.
This is what I was talking about at the start when I said them sitting next to each other is gonna be pretty interesting. If you saw that big hand Vanessa played against Kevin McPhee, you know, she's not one to stay away from someone just because they have a big stack. That used to be sort of a strategy as well. Hey, don't mess with the other big stack at the table. And when you get dealt a setup like this, it's even harder to avoid it.
Boom.
Wow.
There you
She
go.
folds.
Too big of a tournament.
Nice.
Good lay down, Vanessa.
Shows are coming.
An excellent fold.
Vanessa Selbst is on point today.
You're gonna know anyway.
That is a heck of a lay down.
I don't have
Wow.
the ever bluffy, you know that.
Yeah, right. Sure.
They are still the two biggest stacks,
Well, I
but
will be
Deeb has
proven
reclaimed
it
the
is
chip
a lot.
lead at this final table.
I don't
Pretty
have
close
anything
though.
anyway.
2.746 plays 2.68.
I am floored by
Makes you
that.
feel better
That
or
is
worse that you
just,
consider folding to the cold four.
that is the kind of move that, you know, if she can just keep making all the
just wanna know
right
if you were
moves like
calling
that, like she's got this
I
locked
didn't
up.
know, honestly.
If you didn't know, then I.
By the way, a lot of people on Twitter are like calling out Olashemian for that play on the river. Bear in mind, you all knew at home that Vanessa had the full house. And we're going to show you a hand in a moment which may just explain why Olashemian played that the way he did. Trading on Vanessa Selbst's reputation and because she has previous. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's see what happens here. Mike Watson has raised the button. It's Vanessa's small blind. She's got ace-9.
Probably not going to just call out of position.
She 3-bets, which will see Sean Deeb fold the big blind. Action back on Sir Watts. It'll cost him 82,000 to call.
Don't really see him folding. A7 is definitely ahead
get him back right away.
of Vanessa's 3-betting range. He does fold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still have
Folds.
like 200 to go though.
She folds the dominated ace. And Vanessa Selbst adds a few chips back to her stack. So this is from the Super High Roller tournament a week ago. Vanessa Selbst, close to the final table, gets involved in a hand against Doc Sands. She has 7-5 of diamonds. She raises and goes to the flop against Doc Sands, who has ace-deuce, including the ace of clubs. Well, here's the flop, a pair of deuces for Doc Sands and the backdoor flush draw. Vanessa, with 7-5 of diamonds, remember, bets. Now Doc Sands picks up the nut flush draw. Vanessa barrels. Doc Sands calls. And on the river, there's the nut flush for Doc Sands. He checks it. And what does Vanessa do? She shoves. He snap calls. And Vanessa is sent to the rail. A triple barrel bluff with 7 high into the nut flush. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why Olashemian played his hand the way he did.
Still, she checked the flop behind, though. It wasn't a triple barrel.
No, she bet the flop.
No, she checked the flop behind
in
in
Shemian
the-
Shemian hand.
in the
That's true.
Shemian
That's why
hand.
he's saying, you know, it didn't look like a typical
It
Vanessa
looked a
Selbst
little
bluff
suspicious.
to me. Right.
Yeah.
But it worked for her, you know. It was a
Oh, yeah.
a double reverse bluff.
Oh, she probably has done this bluff as well, so it's not, you know.
Let's recap the action here. It's Vanessa's button. She min plus raised and Troinovsky defended his big.
She's picking up hands.
And we know that Troinovsky has ace-6 offsuit. So he's paired his 6. And he's check raised with that 6. What do you think of this line, Joe?
Well, again, I think a check raise is pretty suspicious in this spot. I think that someone like Vanessa, if you have a big hand, you can, you know, safely let her bet into you a couple of times. hands that she's afraid of, you know, that would check raise here is, you know, like
2 pairs, flush draws, but that's
yeah,
fine.
exactly.
Like
Pair
double.
and a flush draw. But you know, if someone has a pair and a flush draw, she's
in
beating them.
position. Yeah, she's in position.
Got to
Well,
figure, why would you check raise a king there, right? You check call.
Right.
Yeah. Annoying card for her.
Yeah, it gets a little worse for her. She's open-ended now.
Yeah.
Now, does Troinovsky keep up the aggression?
You know, but that card's going to hit a lot of hands that already had a piece of that, 2 pairs and straights.
Yeah. It's an annoying card for Troinovsky to barrel to. Though. Because if Vanessa had anything on that board, then this is completely in her range. What she'd call with. Unless she's bluff calling.
True for both players.
Yeah. See, he checks now. He's chickening out.
And that just looks super weak. Check raising, then checking. Especially when a card hits that, if you were semi-bluffing, could have very easily made you a hand.
So she bets 180,000.
I think once you check raised, checked here, I think giving up is probably the right play.
I think his mind's going back and forth, like, should I check shove now? Like, can I do anything about this?
I think he gets snap called if he does that.
He's gonna just fall.
He already looks like he hates his hand.
Thinking this long and then check shoving just doesn't make sense anyway, so, yeah.
He mucks his ace-6, and Vanessa wins another pot.
Did you get the payouts? Yeah.
Vanessa Selbst is an unstoppable rebel force.
Yeah, I know.
So Vanessa back in the lead. Remember, it's still close between her and Dee, but she is the official chip leader at this 5-handed final table. We've already lost 3 players today. We have played 22 hands. As we play down to the final champion of this poker festival in the 25K High Roller at the PokerStars.net Caribbean Adventure.
I wonder how many people are watching this. I think there's a lot.
Somewhere between 1 and 2 million.
Can I get some water? Yeah.
And 23 of the final table. It's an under-the-gun race from Mike Watson. We have some graphical issues at the moment, so apologies for the lack of text on the screen.
Whatever, like Ryan D'Angelo might be, he likes to watch this stuff, right? So they can tell me that.
Ah. Want some information.
That's a fair point. I mean,
Of course.
it's very clear there is a 50-minute delay on the stream, but after that 50 minutes, the information is available to everyone.
She wants to know what Deep had in that hand, of course.
Doesn't matter what he had. She found that other gear I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Re-raises makes a total 130,000.
So Deeb 3 bets to 130,000. Troinovsky folds the small. Shemian gives up the big. Back on Sir Watts. 1 minute 40 on the level. Blind's about to go up to 1530 with a 4K ante.
We're not going to read the tweet, but I'm just going to say this man is an idiot.
Everyone who's tweeted us in the last half hour is now worried you're talking about them.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Not that many people on the rail today. I think they're by the pool. Did you guys go outside today?
I think everybody's checked out, to be honest.
Oh, they flew home, you think?
Time to get out of here.
Yeah.
I've not been outside today. Any
No?
good out there?
Yeah, the best day out there so far.
You got a nice little color to you there, Fatima.
Yeah, it's okay, right? Didn't get burned.
You are adorbs.
There's a 4-bet from Watson.
Fold.
And a quick fold from Sean Deeb. So Aaron tweets to say, is shirtless slow-mo Stapes going to make it into the TV edit? Not of this show, but this is an opportunity, Joe, for us to plug some of our finest work. Last year at Atlantis, we filmed a show called the 2012 Preview Show. Now, granted, it was looking ahead at all the TV shows we were going to be making in 2012, which we since made. But if you want to see me and Joe having a bit of fun at the Atlantis Resort, the show is available to watch at PokerStars.tv. If you go into the PCA archives, alternatively, you'll find it on the PokerStars TV app for your mobile device.
And if you want to see shirtless slow-mo Stapes, and I don't know why you would, but if you do, it is over the closing credits of that show. I think that after yesterday's broadcast, that's the closest I've ever come to like having a meltdown.
Why?
Because they did play me. Okay, last year at the PCA, the cameraman says, "Hey, let me shoot you in slow-mo in the shower outside. It'll never be for TV. I just want to mess around with the camera. I just want to, you had this epic red camera."
And he believed the cameraman.
And so I was like, sure, no problem. I'm a good sport. Without even asking me, they put it in the show. And then yesterday, without asking me, they rolled it into the live coverage. Just me whipping my hair around and my belly shaking everywhere.
But you've lost a lot of weight since last year,
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, like, they showed the part of it that was the absolute worst, like me picking my shirt off So the only thing you can see is just hairy belly. It looks like a ball that was rolled around in barber clippings.
This hand is Selpst versus Watson. Vanessa raised under the gun to 50,000 and Mike Watson defended his big blind. Looks like Vanessa has made a continuation bet of 60,000 on a flop of 10-8-4 with 2 hearts.
Vanessa raised under the gun, you say. Tend to give that raise a little more credence, although, Lex was talking about yesterday that under the gun is the new button.
King of spades on the turn.
Oh, 5-handed especially.
Mike checks a second time.
So in case you need a reminder of the boards, 4, 8, 10, king, 2 hearts.
And we know that Vanessa has pocket 4s for a set of 4s, and Mike Watson has ace-queen for a gut shot.
With the ace of hearts.
Wow, Vanessa just keeps flopping sets.
She's the beast.
Bet.
118.
118.
So again, apologies for the lack of on-screen graphics. Obviously, we have some technical issues that we have to resolve. So after this hand, we're actually going to take a very quick break, and we're going to switch it off and on again, as they say.
Reboot.
Pull out the cartridge, blow on it, jiggle it a little bit, stick it back in. Old Nintendo trick. I don't know if you ever played Nintendo, Fatima. You were probably
No.
too busy being popular and good looking.
No, that's just bullshit. You know that. But
It's your
I do that
second
to my
yellow
TV.
card. Next time it's the red, okay?
Usually the second yellow card is a red, right?
Yeah, but I play by different rules.
Oh, okay, that's difficult. No, I do that to my TV. When it doesn't work and I pull it.
What kind of, how old's your TV?
A digital. It's the digital stuff that doesn't work, and then it says it seems like the cables are not connected properly. There's
Digital
no
stuff.
signal.
Sounds like you're a real expert.
Mike Watson
No.
is going to check call a second time. 118,000 apiece as we go to the river. He's drawing to 4 outs. Needs to see a jack on the river. It's an ace.
That's a pretty bad card for him.
Wow.
So he pairs up on the board on the river. Ooh.
That sucks. For him.
It's 483,000 in the pot. Watson, the effective stack here. He started the hand with 2 million.
Vanessa's still got to really like her hand.
And another 400. bet. And then
I think almost a full pot. We got 483,000 in the middle.
I like how she takes her time. I'm too like impatient. I always bet quickly, call quickly, raise quickly.
So Vanessa
Good.
with a set of 4s, Mike Watson with a pair of aces. Action has been checked to Vanessa a third and final time.
She should get real tricky and just check behind.
She's going for value just as she did with her full house. $243,000.
Small.
And Mike Watson calls. And Vanessa tables her 4s.
And that pot was worth almost $1 million.
Pretty nice.
Vanessa extends her chip lead up to nearly 3.5 million. Mike Watson down to 1.6 million. Vanessa Selbst is the player in front at the moment with nearly
Can't wait till I find out
3.5 million.
what you have that hand.
Really
Sean Deeb, who started this final table as chip leader, is second on the leaderboard,
50? Okay.
followed by Mike Watson with 1.58 million, Ola Shemian with 1.51 million, Vladimir Troianovsky, who made the final table of the Super High Roller as well, is the low man at the table, but is still pretty deep with the blinds at 15 and 30,000 with a 4K ante. And apologies for the technical issues we were having before the break. We should have rectified the graphics now. Joe Stapleton rejoins me, James Hartigan, as we commentate on the action here in the Bahamas.
And if you're wondering how Vanessa got 214 big blinds, it's because she's playing great and running great. It's deadly.
So back to the action, hand 25 of this final table. Ola Shemian on the button, verifying what the blinds are.
Raised to 60,000.
Raises to 60,000. Mike Watson in the small blind has 7-8 of diamonds. And we're not 100% sure of Ola Shemian's hand, and we're not even 100% sure he actually has a 7.
So ignore that 7. We'll do a little sweat with hand here. 8-7 of diamonds against. Oh.
6 of diamonds, straight of clubs, 5 of spades.
Wow. The up and down straight draw for Sir Watts. And a reminder that we are not 100% sure of Shemian's hand. We cannot confirm he has 10-7 of spades.
That's 75,000.
The donk bet from Sir Watts. He leads for 75,000.
Sure, he'd be happy to take this pot down right now if he does get called. He's got lots of outs, at least in his mind. That would be one of them.
Mike Watson with the nut straight.
And if Shemian does have a 7, he is in real trouble here.
But just to reiterate, we cannot guarantee that Shemian actually has a 7. We're not sure if his whole cards are correct, and we don't want a repeat of the Kyle Julius situation. By the way, nothing happened while we were off, by the way. The players took an unofficial break while we rectified the graphics machine and the tournament clock was paused.
Yes.
So Shemian lays it down and Mike Watson wins that part. I think we can safely assume that he didn't have a 7 in his hand.
I think it was just a brilliant soul read.
And for those of you who are asking for the password for the PCALive free roll, which kicks off at 7:15 this evening Eastern Time, it is TCOOP, T-C-O-O-P. TCOOP is the password for the free roll. Whoever is controlling the PokerStars Twitter account is getting very frustrated because people are tweeting asking for the password and being told in no uncertain terms that that information will only be given out on this live stream.
Or the truth, which is that it's given out pretty much everywhere, except for the PokerStars Twitter account.
Just as this hand gets underway, I want to say a quick hello to Constantine, who tweets to say, I'm one of your oldest viewers, show some love. Joe, are you going to stay in the PokerStars Fat Cat house when you come to London?
Unfortunately, the commute to and from the blimp is a little too far for me. I'm not going to be able to make it. No, I think they're putting me up in a really nice apartment complex, and it's called the Council Estates. Sounds really, really nice.
Button raise from Mike Watson, 65,000. And Deeb will defend his big blind. He has pocket threes.
It's a race.
Jack 7-7 with 2 hearts.
Pretty boring flop for both players. Mike Watson's only got backdoors. Check down over to Sir Watts. Keeping up his pre-flop aggression with a continuation bet.
75,000.
Deeb's kind of got to like a pair here.
75,000, which was the same as the size of his pre-flop raise. Watson now with a flush draw. A straight flush draw.
Heck yeah. Deep still ahead. His board pairing will counterfeit his hand, however. Mike just picked up a ton of equity. Usually players are going to bet once they gain equity. It looks like he's thinking about something else, James. Did I do anything embarrassing at the club last night?
I don't think any of these guys were in the club last night.
I feel like I may have seen Tobias, but I'm not positive. No, I did not see anyone else.
And with a second barrel on the turn, Watson wins the pot. Wootsa on Twitter says, I love Vanessa Selps. The day before she won the Par Touche main event for 1 million plus, I wished her good luck in the chat box on Stars. And she said if she wins it, I'd get $500, and I did.
Wow. We shouldn't encourage that kind of behavior, though.
So we've lost 3 players so far. Micah Raskin was the first man out and was followed out the door by Tobias Reinkemeyer, who lost a flip, ace-king against 8s. And then Bryn Canny ran 8s into jacks. All 3 players who've been out so far eliminated by Ola Shemian.
Oh my God, they killed Kenny.
And so we are 5-handed at this final table.
Raised to 60,000.
Shemian bumping it up under the gun with ace-queen off. Vanessa Selps on the button. What are you up to, you old dog, you Selpsty?
Sorry, I just have to quickly read this tweet from Flying Squiz. He says, can we get a replay of the Carl Julius moment, the infamous fold of the century? No replay, but I do believe that live stream was archived on PokerStars.tv, so you can see it again in all its glory.
That is the most exciting hand of poker that's never happened.
So Shemian's raises to 60,000. Vanessa with King 8 suited on the button. Reminder of chip denominations. The yellows are the big ones. They're 25K. Blues are 5K. The reds are 1K. So that is a 3-bet from Vanessa. She makes it a total of 143,000.
I think it's about to get real in here.
Blinds fold. Action's back on Shemian.
We just know that Vanessa's going to be 3-betting awfully wide from the button. Hands just like this.
It's 143.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
We raised 266.
We raised
266,000 total.
66,000.
Now Vanessa surprised us a few times already today, not going crazy in these spots. Typically what makes TV edits is her going crazy in these spots.
How much is save left?
I'm sorry?
How much is save left?
200.
And how much behind?
About 1 behind. A little over 1.
Not exactly accurate. Actually pretty close.
260?
266.
He started the hand with 1.4.
Vanessa calls in position. We go to a flop.
Ike Haxton's nodding his head, so I'm going to say I also agree with this move.
Ike from Team Online now joining us in the booth. Great to have you with us, Ike.
One of the best
Hello,
poker
guys.
minds in the universe. I'm thrilled to have you here, man.
Thank you. Yeah, Shemian's 4-bet there is a little small, and with a pretty reasonable hand like King 8 suited, I think Vanessa should and usually will flat there.
And she flops pretty well.
And, yep. Yeah, I think this is going to work out for her.
Everything's been coming up Selps so far today.
And Shemian had the pre-flop betting lead, and he will continue. Nearly 600,000 in the pot.
With only 2x pot to play, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just bet call it off with the nut-no pair here. I mean, paired board, the other card's a 5. If you assume Vanessa stacks off most of her pairs pre, most of her pairs that she 3-bet anyway, it's kind of hard to put her on anything here. Sometimes she'll run to trips, but if she's folding everything but trips, your C-bet always wins, and if she's ever playing anything else, you can just stack it off.
That was like poetry listening to that.
That's a really small C-bet. It's what, 120 into, yeah, 600. I would have gone a little bigger there, I think. For that price, you let her just, you know, call with 2 unpaired cards and try to get there.
Is it small with the intent of, quote-unquote, letting her stack off?
Yeah, I think so. What, she's like min-raising him back here? Or is that just a call? Yeah, that's just a call. Okay, that's what I would do with her hand there. He's made it so small that she can just call with Queen Jack or Ace 8 or whatever she has here and either try and get to showdown or maybe bluff a later street, so may as well call the trips as well.
Vanessa now with a lock on the hand. Shemian with just over a pot-sized bet behind.
And is that actually how you go through the thought process? You say, what would I do here with Queen Jack?
Yeah, definitely.
Shemian slows down. He now checks.
I think if I were Vanessa here, I'd bet 250 or so, something like that.
She rope-a-dope Shemian before when she had a huge hand.
It is 216.
This time she's playing it more the way you would expect her to play it when she has nothing.
Yeah.
216,000.
And he's just
calling it off.
Calling, yeah.
Call.
Nine of clubs on the river.
Now I think Shemian's going to have a really tough decision on the river here because Vanessa easily could have gotten here with a whole bunch of no pair, and she will bluff it when she does. And it's hard to tell if Shemian's ever going to get here much stronger than ace-queen. Like, is he going to check the turn if he has jacks or something? He might just feel obligated to call because he feels like he rarely has any better than this, or at least nothing that's effectively better than this.
Well, that happened really quickly. As soon as the river card was dealt, he checked. Vanessa announced all in, which would put Shemian all in.
And he called the river bomb before.
And he lets it go, leaving himself 765,000.
I think it's a good fold. It's a tough fold to make, though.
And Vanessa extends her chip lead. She's now playing a stack of more than 4 million. Deeb second on the leaderboard with nearly 2.4 million. So Vanessa, the only player at the table with more than 100 bigs. And Shemian now dipping to that 26 big blind level. So a reminder that Ike Haxton has joined me, James Hartigan, and Joe Stapleton in the commentary booth here at the final table of the 25K High Roller at the PokerStars.net Caribbean Adventure. Have an email from Lucien. He says, guys, love the broadcast. I like James a lot more than Colin from the earlier EPTs. Thank you. Joe is a lot funnier than Norman Chad. Is there a way of reaching every one of you guys via an email address? You can follow us on Twitter.
How about that one?
That's a fair compromise, right? You can follow at Stapes. You can follow at J_Hartigan. Is it at Ike Poker?
Yes, it is.
And I'm sure Ike's excited about the T-Coop, which is kicking off on the 17th.
I am, or rather I would be if I were going to be out of the country for it, but I'm not sure how many of the events I'm going to be able to play.
Where do you go? Where do you go to play your online
I did
poker?
enjoy playing it last year, for sure. Well, I've been spending most of my time in Malta lately, but I don't have like legal residence there or anything, so I'm basically just a frequent tourist, which means I only get to spend 90 out of 180 days there and do a lot of traveling around to other places as well. Played the T-Coop from Hong Kong last year.
Wow.
And under the gun raised from Sir Watts. Ace-King suited, and he finds a customer, a la Shemian, defending his big blind.
65,000.
The way he made that call, he's looking a little
He
bit
seems
frustrated.
a little frustrated, understandably.
I mean, when you consider how well things were going for him, you know, he eliminates 3 players in a row in the space of around 15 hands, gets the chip lead at the table, and then just blows it all in that big hand against Vanessa.
Probably a little less frustrated after seeing that flop.
Worked on coming. I knew you.
Especially if you knew what the hands are.
Be interesting to see whether or not Watts bets here. It's a board where one barrel is just not going to do it very often, and stacks are short enough that Shemian can just jam a lot of hands, even something like 7-8. So yeah, Watts does check it back. I think I like that. It's so gross to bet ace-king there, get jammed on. You have gut shot to the nuts and 2 overs that might be live, getting nearly 2 to 1. It's really unpleasant spot to be in, so I think it's a good check.
76,000.
Shemian now leads the turn. 76,000.
Yeah, I'd never do anything else there. I don't think he should try to go for the check raise twice or anything like that.
Scott Seaver, the super high roller champion from a week ago, has appeared on the rail chatting with Sean Deeb.
Okay, let me bet on that.
Who's watching him on?
My nephew.
Scott's Twitter said today that he had to piece together what happened last night after a tweet saying something about it was so unreal, the most unreal night of partying he's ever experienced, something like that.
Yeah, I recall seeing this.
We're going to hear from our 8th place finisher now, Michael Raskin.
Not really ill, just had a kidney stone attack. And went back and forth to the hospital a few times, flew to Miami a few times, took care of it. Came back in and made the final table.
Made the final table, but was the first to depart. It seems that Scott Seaver has been employed by Team Deeb to watch the live stream and supply Sean with that crucial information 40 minutes later. I have to ask you, Ike, as a player, what your feelings are on the whole way that we now present these live streams. I mean, obviously, we're commentating live, but we're commentating over a picture that's around 45 to 50 minutes old. Now, obviously, the information that's displayed here is available to everyone, so they can. It's a level playing field to a certain extent.
Right, it's absolutely fair, but it does change the game, and I think it creates an interesting dynamic. I don't have a strong opinion on whether it's better or worse for the players, and it's great for the viewers, so I'm all for continuing to do this. But it does create this dynamic where, you know, you have players at the final table of a tournament like this, and everybody has their friend who's at home watching the stream and sending them their thoughts.
Did you do that last year when you made the final table?
Yep, I did that last year when I made the final table. I was that guy doing that for Scott when he made the final table of the super high roller here this year.
Can you give us an example of something you might have told Scott as a result of something you saw?
Well,
give us one. Sorry, Ike. We got one interview coming up here. Hold on.
Yep, no problem.
Let's hear from our 7th place finisher in the tournament, Tobias Reinkemeyer.
I don't know, I just like high rollers in general because it's way more fun to play in them. They're smaller fields, so variance is actually less than in big events. Obviously, like if you play a main event with 1,000 runners, it's way tougher to go on a final table than in this one, even though the players are better. And yeah, and it's way more fun too. Like it's a whole different level of poker.
So another high roller final table appearance for Tobias. So sorry, Joe, you were asking Ike a question.
Yeah, I wanted to know if Ike, you know, what's an example of something that Ike would have told Scott as a result of watching this live broadcast last week during Scott's super high roller win? And do you think that, you know, that advice was at all a factor in him eventually winning?
Well, you know, they went on dinner break with 3 players left in the tournament in that one, and the live stream was still running from an hour earlier when he went on dinner break. So I was up in a hotel room with a couple other people watching the stream. Scott came up on dinner break and joined us, and we watched it together for an hour. And we were talking about, oh, wow, you're really defending a lot of hands against Doc's button open here. And when you're showing up with 3 bets, and all these pots that you've 3-bet and won, you're showing up with, like, 4-2 suited and just exclusively terrible hands. It'll be interesting to see how Doc changes up his play when we get back. And
he's watching the same thing.
He's watching the same thing, and we were thinking he's going to open the button a little tighter. He's probably going to fold infrequently, but not never to the 3 bets, because, you know, it's a he knows I know sort of situation where Scott knows that Doc went and did the same thing and has seen that he's shown up with all these weak 3-bets, so maybe Scott's going to start 3-betting for much thinner value, fewer bluffs.
Let's just recap the action here. Shemian's button raised to 60k, and Mike Watson will 3-bet from the small blind with ace-3 suited. Makes it 140,000 total. Not giving Shemian that many options, considering his stack size.
Just to go back to what Ike said for a second, that is so cool. That is awesome. I mean, that is just, especially when you get a group of you guys together and Doc and his people, you know, just some of the best poker minds in the game doing like real-time strategy rearrangement. That is so cool.
All in.
Shemian shoves.
Oh. You're raising all in.
Can't imagine Watts was 3-betting to a third of his stack to fold here, but it is actually kind of close.
He's ahead, but not by much.
Yeah.
And he folds.
Maybe I misread the stack sizes there. That was about how many big blinds effectively?
Shemian had about 800k. We're playing 1530 at the moment.
Oh, okay. That's more than I realized. No, I would expect Watts to fold there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Shemian up to
especially with
blinds.
Shemian being last in chips, you know, there are payout considerations there where you'd expect him to play the spot a bit tighter. Yeah, I take it back. I'm not at all surprised by how Watts played his hand there.
Got some questions coming in for you, Ike, on Twitter. This one from Colm. Ike, what's your top tip for the T-Coupe and playing online turbo tournaments in general?
Be very, very aware of the bubble. Much more so in turbos than in other tournaments. A big part of the best player's edge comes from playing the bubble well, cashing with a below average stack more often than the other players are.
It's great advice.
By the way, that is the runner-up in the main event, Joel Micker, with his railing crew. I imagine there's a few sore heads there today. Congratulations once again to Dimitar Danchev, who won the PCA main event for nearly $1.9 million. It's the last big tournament of the festival, the 25K high roller. And right now, Vanessa Selbst is the woman to beat. 3.9 million in chips. As five-handed action continues, the last player we lost from the tournament was Bryn Kenny. He was our 6th place finisher. Let's hear from Bryn.
Well, at least I chipped up 2 spots, so I guess it's better than not. Never really happy with 6th place, but I never really had a big stack either. I never really had a powering stack, never had a good spot to win really a big pot, so I just stayed alive, wound up in a bad spot, and then busted, but really played well, so I can't be upset with how it went.